We often hear this question from Canadian founders. Should I incorporate my startup in Canada or in US? And for those who have already incorporated in Canada, I hear this question often. Should I flip my Canadian company to a US company? Let's take a look at both options and what's at stake for Canadian entrepreneurs. Hi, I'm Amandeep Singh, CPA and founder of Cloudiverse CPAs. We work closely with startups across Canada on structure, funding, and tax planning. Today, I'll walk you through the key differences between incorporating in Canada versus the US and why many Canadian founders choose to stay local. You see, for Canadian founders, incorporating in Canada can provide major tax advantages. If your company qualifies as a Canadian-controlled private corporation or CCPC, you can unlock benefits that are not available if your parent company is based in the US. Let's look at few of the biggest advantages. You see, CCPCs are eligible for the SR&ED tax credit, which refunds up to 35% of qualified R&D cost, up to a cap of $3 million per year. That's up to $1.5 million annually in non-dilutive funding, which is incredibly helpful when developing your product or scaling operations. You see, Canadian shareholders of a CCPC may claim the lifetime capital gains exemption. This allows you to exempt up to 1.25 million of your capital gains when you sell your shares. The exemption is increasing over time and it's also indexed for inflation starting in 2026. It's a powerful tool for long-term tax planning. Employees of CCPCs also receive favorable tax treatment for stock options. They don't pay tax until they sell their shares, creating flexibility. For startups hiring talent in Canada, this tax benefit can help attract and retain top people. CCPCs can access a range of federal and provincial grants, all non-dilutive. Founders can also explore planning tools like family trust and IP strategies, which can reduce tax exposure and create long-term value. Now, let's talk about US incorporation. One of the top reasons given by investors is access to qualified small business stock or QSBS. This allows US taxpayers to shelter capital gains on their shares, but this benefit applies to US residents only. Canadian founders miss out on the Canadian tax tools we just covered. Some believe US companies have better access to capital, but in practice, many Canadian startups have raised significant funds from US investors. Think of Shopify, 1Password, Wealthsimple, and there are so many others, all Canadian and all backed by major US venture firms. Certain sectors like defense or life sciences may need a US company for regulatory reasons. In those cases, founders can create a US subsidiary under a Canadian parent. That approach keeps Canadian tax benefits while meeting the US rules. Choosing where to incorporate is one of the most important decisions a founder will ever make. Canadian and US structures offer different tax advantages, but for Canadian entrepreneurs, the tax incentives and funding programs available to CCPCs can create a strong foundation for growth. Before making a move, make sure to fully understand what each structure offers and what it means for your team and also for your investors. If you are considering your structure or thinking about flipping your company to, let's say, a state like Delaware, feel free to reach out. At Cloudiverse CPAs, we help founders make confident decisions about incorporation, funding, and tax planning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.